Star athletes strive for the best, putting their heart and soul into the games they play. But sometimes the hits they take come back to haunt them.
And Lou Ragoose joins us now, and you've been looking closely at the price these athletes pay farther down the line.
Absolutely, Don. And the fear these athletes face can be summed up in 3 letters: CTE. It's a brain disease that UB doctors hope that they can now detect and help these players before it's too late. On the field and on the ice, they are modern-day gladiators, putting their bodies on the line for sport and the enjoyment of thousands of paying fans. Just ask Sabres legend Danny Gare.
A lot of fisticuffs, a lot of fights. I mean, I probably had over 300-400 fights in my career. I mean, went to hospital. I was knocked out, throwing up all night. They wake you every hour.
It's something that you're willing to do because you're playing at the highest level. I was in the National Hockey League, and I was willing to do whatever it took to make sure that nobody would take that away for at least as long as I could have it.
There are hits, game in and game out, for years, if an athlete's body will allow it. And to young professional athletes who hit their prime in their mid-20s, the reward almost always outweighs the risk.
You're a young kid, and you don't really think that that stuff will happen to you. But now you're on the other side, and just waiting to see if the unknown is going to be a part of your life or not.
The unknown, as former Sabres enforcer Andrew Peters calls it, involves chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, a brain disease doctors say is caused by repeated blows to the head. The condition became more well known in the last few years after researchers at Boston University began studying the brains of former NFL players who sometimes killed themselves after bouts with dementia. Buffalo sports fans were saddened by the recent news. Former Bills legend Joe DeLamielleure has been diagnosed by UCLA doctors as having signs of CTE. His symptoms include shortened attention span, trouble sleeping, and mood swings.
And when no one's around, they'll get depression for no reason. Like there's no reason whatsoever to get it, and I just start getting depressed.
Joe D. knows there are others like him, and now doctors at the University at Buffalo are determined to find them. They're conducting the Healthy Aging Mind study. They say it's the first study that looks at living retired hockey players as well as football players. 15 former Buffalo Sabres and Buffalo Bills have already signed on, and doctors hope to get up to 40 retired athletes involved in the study. They want to see if those former players are losing ground as they age faster than the general public. One of the participants is a face any Sabres fan would recognize, legendary winger Danny Gare. In his 14 years in the National Hockey League, his head took its share of hits.
It was great to play the game, but some nights was not fun.
Participants are coming here to Buffalo General Hospital to have MRIs done to see if researchers can detect signs of CTE in their brains. In the past, doctors have only been able to diagnose CTE in the brains of athletes who died.
To Martin, real shoot!
Athletes like former Sabres player Rick Martin. After he died of a heart attack while driving, doctors looked at his brain and found CTE. It was especially eye-opening to researchers because Martin was a scorer, not a hitter. It also opened the eyes of his former teammate, Danny Gare.
It definitely was eye-opening.
Gare, Andrew Peters, and others participating in the study are alive and well, and if they are found to have signs of CTE, they want help now. And that's what the UB doctors want to offer. Dr. Barry Willer and Dr. John Letty, the region's premier experts on concussions, are leading the study.
What we're doing is we're taking the information and we're identifying problems they might have now and suggesting resources that they could use to help them right now.
And by examining a wide swath of living former players rather than the brains of players who died, their hope is that they don't find CTE.
We're skeptics. I think all good researchers are skeptics, and we're not absolutely sure that there's a relationship between playing football or playing hockey or playing any sport and early onset dementia. We don't know that.
Gare is already experiencing memory loss and headaches. He estimates he suffered up to 8 concussions in his career. Are you worried at all about what they might find here? Are you nervous?
I think you're always worried, nervous about, sure. But I would rather know than not know. It's there, I just don't know how bad it is.
And then there's a question that stirs some conflicting feelings in these former pros. If the tests find signs of CTE, do they have any regrets about their careers? Should parents today prevent their kids from playing collision sports?
Looking back on my career, the hockey was my life, so. Today I'd say to my grandson, go out and enjoy it, skate, have fun, and see where it goes.
Gare believes the speed is so much more dangerous at the professional level that youth athletes don't face nearly as much risk. But Andrew Peters says if the tests show he's on a darkened path, his answer might be different.
The fear of the unknown is maybe enough to maybe say it wasn't worth it.
The fear of the unknown is proving much more difficult to handle than any opponent these athletes ever faced.
And the study will take about a year to complete, and we'll be following it every step of the way. They are still looking for former hockey players and football players, plus participants for a comparison, like former professional athletes in golf or swimming. Don and Jackie.
You know, Jackie and I are watching this. Danny Gare, Joe D, the superstars of our generation, to see them potentially having this struggle. Is there anything that can be done for the CTE?
Well, that's the hope. And what they're going to do for sure is give them help on specific symptoms, because many of the players can't sleep, for example. Well, they can be connected with specific sleep experts. And depression is another thing that could be treated. Something as small as diet changes can also be addressed once the doctors have a full picture of each participant. But as for reversing CTE, I mean, we're looking a ways down the road yet.
Really troubling, but I think it's great that you're following this study, Lou. This is groundbreaking. This is the first time in the world that this has been done.
Absolutely. These hockey players chose to make their lives here in Western New York, and the UB doctors think it's a great opportunity to reach out to them and help them.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Lou.